Hey y'all, I'm Janice and I'm going to be your resident bitch in stitches. Thanks for hanging out with me for a little while today. This is my attempt at a podcast and it's number 2. We're going to pretend number 1 ever happened because it was a disaster. I mean, if you like to watch a car crash, go ahead and watch it, but you had the camera turned the wrong way or something, I don't know. Which, by the way, this is the second time I'm filming this one because I did the same thing. So, yeah, so that's fun. I mean, full disclosure, I've been on TikTok for like 3 months now. 3 months now, filming content there daily, just to get my feet wet, get comfortable in front of the camera, and not cringe every time I see my own face. So, what are you gonna do, right? And I'm like looking in the wrong place. So, how about eye contact? Oh my God. So in case you didn't know it, I'm not going to script these. I'm just going to go with it because it's just me hanging out with my friends. I don't need a script to hang out with my friends, right? So yeah, so I figure we'll kind of go the whole yarncasty way, podcast way, I guess, but let's do it chill. Let's do it chill. So I figure I'll show you my first finish, and that's my Ivy top by Petite Knit, which is here. So this is my second project I've done by Petite Knit. The first one was the Ivy blouse or sweater. It's a long sleeve one. I made it with 100% alpaca that I ran with a kid mohair that I got from Knit Picks, and it's lovely. It was my second knit garment I've ever made. I'm very new to knitting. I've only been knitting since December of 2025. This is June of 2026, so it's been about 6 months. I have been crocheting for almost 3 years now. I began in July of 2023. So from here moving forward, I will refer to myself as a critter. I am a crocheter who learned to knit, therefore I am a critter. It's just easier to say. It keeps me from having to say both terms. There you go. There you go. Okay, so again, this is my Ivy top from Petite Knit. I made the size, I want to say 4. I believe it was the 4. I'm grabbing it. I used a bamboo cotton blend that I bought from Amazon. And I will give you a link in the description if you so choose. But it is a 70 bamboo, 30 cotton. And it comes with 8 skeins. And I only use 3.5. I have plenty left. And I actually love this stuff. I bought this from Amazon, but I also had bought this type from Crochet yarn. And I don't even know where I'm looking. There you go, Crochet. And this one, it's bamboo 139, but it's the same. It's 70-30. They both say that they are 2/8, but they're more like fingering. They're a fingering. So I ran them double. I did attempt this with the Moonset Tee single, and I did not like it at all. It was way too thin. So I doubled it and made the Vegas top, and I'm very happy with that. Here's a photo of it. But I used this that I got from Amazon, and I ran it with this very thin, it's like cotton thread. That has sequins, and they're kind of holographic, so that iridescent, so that they're more subtle than if I had done like silver or gold. And I'm going to get real close and up close and personal, and like I'm hugging you, and I'm going to just come in so you can see all of the lovely sparkles. And I actually made this much longer. I just wanted to show you. I made this much longer than the pattern states. I did about 16 inches from the armhole because I wanted it long in the front so I can put a belt over it. So the plan is that this will be worn to an event I'm going to later this year in October. And yeah, I am very happy with it. Very, very happy with it. So a little bit about Petit Knit. I've now knit up 2 of the patterns. Granted, it's the same pattern. I just added sleeves to the first one. But I now can say that I have to adjust. So, like I said, I made a 4, but I have a bust, a prominent bust, which I feel this pattern is not made for. But that's my opinion. You could argue with me if you like. I will continue to feel that way. So a 4, as you can see, fits just fine. But it didn't without me adjusting just a bit. All I did, and then truth be told, it told me to cast on 5 extra when I joined for the round to split for body. And I joined 10 per side instead of 5. That's the only modification I made other than lengthening the torso of it. I do have a very long torso to begin with. But it's also my opinion that because this design does not incorporate like darts of any kind, that I really did need to make sure that I made it with positive ease rather than negative. And I needed to make it longer because I find no matter what I make, if I make it to the specification of the designer that includes crochet items, the front always rides up. We all know why. Now I know why, because lovely people on YouTube have educated me to let me know that I need to be adding darts into my projects, but I don't know how to do that. So my plan is to now make thoughtful things with intention and try to gear towards perfect fit. So I do have plans to be making items where the pattern calls for bust darts so I can learn how to do it. And then hopefully if I find patterns I like that don't offer them, I would be able to add them in myself. That is the goal. So this is really my only recent finished object. I do have several on the hook, but I figured I would just share with you a couple of them to not bore you endlessly with lots of half-made things. So this event I'm going to later this year is a wedding, and it is the wedding of my one and only niece. I have one brother. He has one offspring. It is my niece. And she is getting married in October. And that is what I would like to wear this to. But I'm also making them a gift. She also knits and has been knitting for years, far longer than I ever have. So I didn't want to knit anything for them because she knows how. She can make whatever she wants, but she does not crochet. So I thought I would make this. So this is a mosaic crochet pattern. It is the double wedding rings. Here is the description from Ravelry so that you can get it if you love it as much as I do. So I'm almost done with the first panel. I could actually make just one. This pattern is just one of these. And I'm almost done. I'm about 8 rows away from completing the panel. And the way it's designed, which I think is genius, I wish I was this smart. It has a repeat here. So half of this, it ends here. So what I'm doing is just repeating it. So I'm doing 3 panels. There you go. I'm doing 3 panels wide, and I'll do 4 panels tall. So when I'm done, this should be about a queen size blanket. But I think they're going to love it. I do on my channel here have a tutorial, if you're interested, that shows you how to take just any mosaic crochet pattern and turn it into a reversible one. So this pattern actually is not a reversible pattern. I had to modify my stitches in a way that would make it reversible. So here's the back. And as you can see, it is fully reversible. And it makes for a nice flat back. If I did not do that, all of these areas where I had, again, just watch that video. I'm not gatekeeping a secret. It's just literally, it's called, I believe, a negative stitch that you're doing. And so if you just click on that short video, it'll show you how. But you see these long stints of double crochets. If I had not made the negative stitches, back here where this white is, for example, this long strip of white, it would be a gap that I could stick my finger in all along the way. And while I don't think that's horrible, I just would not like that. I feel like that's something their cat would have fun playing with, or their toe might want to mess with. You get what I'm saying. I feel like it's a flat back is nicer, which is why I chose to do it that way. But I'm loving this pattern, and it is summer, and it gets up to 100 degrees here. And I'll be honest, because this is getting bigger, it is warm when I work with it. But I find if I work with it very early in the morning, before the sun comes up, because I am an early riser, I'm a medical professional, have been my entire life. I get up before the birds, put it that way. I am up very early. I'm up when people are still out partying, is when I'm getting up and getting my day started. So, excuse me, I got a quick itch there. Okay. That's the best time for me to work on this. So I actually did about 6 or 7 rows on it this morning. I jump on it when the mood strikes me. But I'd be happy to show you the yarn. I just have to grab it. Okay. So the yarn I chose to use for this blanket is, I wanted to go with an Aran weight. And I'm using a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, so you know. The pattern calls for a 5, but I am a tight critter, therefore I usually either go up in needle or hook size or pattern size. So I did choose to do a 5.5, and I'm loving how it's coming up. It's nice and flowy, like a fabric blanket should be. So yeah, I'm doing that with a my 5.5 dots crochet hook. All right, so the yarn I chose to use, I narrowed it down to 2, but I went ahead with the Stylecraft Special, and it's Aran weight with wool. So it's a 80% acrylic, 20% wool content. This comes with 400 grams, which buys you 892 yards. Okay. And the color of this is color, I'm almost done. This is my first ball. I'm almost done. It's Ocean. I love this color. So a little bird told me their wedding colors. And that's the color scheme I wanted to go with. Now, I was not 100%. Remember, when you buy yarn off the internet, you're going off a picture on a screen, and who knows what their screen is telling my screen with the lighting. Oi. So I chose this color based off of the photos I saw and my gut. And this actually came in the mail this week, and I kind of want to brag. Look at that. Isn't that perfection? That is perfect. Now, I chose white for the contrast color. And the reason being is the cream from Stylecraft had kind of a pinky hue to it. Kind of like the inside of a seashell, like the inside of a conch shell. You know how you get, it looks kind of creamy vanilla white, but then you see it's pink and peachy, and yeah, that's kind of what it looked like. I felt it had an undertone to it that maybe would not have been cohesive with their palette they chose. So I went with the white, and I'm actually glad I did, because it's not like a white, stark white. It's more like a winter white, which is pretty much what I was hoping it would be. So it worked out perfect. There you are. Now, again, with full disclosure, if you are looking at this yarn and you are dying and you just must have it, let me tell you, I was able to get all 5 balls. I overbought for fear of running out and dye lots. So I can always make them matching pillow shams, which I'm probably going to do. Maybe even for the first anniversary or Christmas this first year. I got the 5 Ocean, no problem. I got them from Webb's here in the United States. I was ecstatic, but they were out of the white. So I went ahead and bought the Ocean because it was in stock. And I was like, well, when the white will be back in stock, I'll just grab it. I waited a couple weeks and I started to freak out. I'm like, no, I need to get this white. I need to get this started. So I had to search the sites. I did find it at a supplier in England. I believe it was, drawing a blank. I'll put the name here. But they will only ship in so many kilograms. So I literally had to buy all 5, but in 2 separate orders. I had to buy 3 and 2. So I just had to stress with them arriving, with tariffs and with, UPS and USPS, completely comfortable with putting your package on anyone's doorstep. They so choose. It doesn't have to be yours. It's any random doorstep. I was concerned, but luckily everything arrived, and I'm able to make the blanket and then some. So that is whip number 1. So yeah. So whip number 2, I think I'll show you, is something I put on pause and I just picked back up this week, and I'm going at it like gangbusters. And I knew that would happen because that's what happened with the whole body of it. So my 4mm needles were held hostage with this project that, as you know, a stockinette round and round and round, that took forever. That took a lot of dedication to do 16 inches of stockinette round and round and round. And it took a while. But I had to pause this whip to make this whip because I only have 1 set of needles. So, yes, I'm late to this. I'm late on the stripe pipe wagon. I'm late to the party. But she's gorgeous. She is gorgeous. So this is my stripe pipe by Veronica Lindbergh. Yes, Veronica Lindbergh. My stripe pipe by Veronica Lindbergh. You all know this. You know who it is. You know who made it. This is not new to you. It's new to me. You probably have at least one version of this already in your closet. So the yarn I use, I'm making a size 4, again a 4. Sorry if I bumped my mic, for the bust. And there are a few things in here I'd never done before, like the twisted ribbing. I went ahead and did it because I didn't know if I'd like it. And now I can tell you that I've done it. I will never do it again. And it's not that I have a visceral reaction to it. I just don't like how it looks. I prefer, I'll be honest, my favorites so far that I've seen is 2x2 ribbing. I just like the look of it. I don't mind 1x1. I've made several things with that now. I don't think I like how this kind of stands out a little bit. But for this project, I think it looks cool. It kind of actually makes it look stripy to match the stripes. So I guess in the context, it looks good. I did choose to put a contrast color at the top, and that will be the last color in my sleeve. And I did choose to put my top color, which is the taupe, onto the bottom ribbing. There you go, onto the bottom ribbing. Looks great. So this colorway I did not put together. I am not that clever. You know who is Shandy over at Expression Fiber Arts. So I bought this yarn, spring of 25, probably March. It's a colorway. in her Luster Sport base called Blackberry Hues. Here's a picture. I believe it was back in stock. I'm going to check, and if it is, I'll let you know here. I'll let you know if it's not either, but it's on her Luster Sport. When I saw it, I did the like most people do, and I just right in the bucket, right into the shopping cart, and here it came. So this is from Shandy at Expression Fiber Arts. I love it. That's my hair. This is the Luster Sport base in the color Cloud. It's my hair again. Yeah, it's a 50% superwash merino, 50% lyocell, which is another word for bamboo. It's just viscose, made from like wood pulp. And you get 395 yards in each skein. So in this colorway pack that I purchased, I had 6 skeins, one of the Cloud and then one of each color. I did not realize I did not have enough because I bought it as a crocheter and then kept it, putting deep thought into what am I going to make with it. So I knew I wanted to use all the colors together. I knew I wanted a sweater, and I knew I wanted to try to use all of it for fear of having that little bits left over that you really can't do much with. So I just held on to it because I never really found a pattern that really spoke to me for it. Later in the year, last year, maybe August, September, I started noticing these mosaic crochet sweaters that are resembling Fair Isle, where they're doing a circular yoke. And I thought about that. But then again, thought to myself, I live in a very warm climate. I am in the South in the United States. So it's very muggy. It's very hot most of the year. We have a very small winter and a small to non-existent fall and spring. So I didn't want to make anything too thick. So I thought about it and I was like, I'm just going to hold off. I don't want to make something I won't be happy with. I don't want to be frogging it later. And then after I finished my Sea Glass crochet version tee last year that I ended up gifting away, I just realized that circular yoke is not something I think is attractive on me. I don't think it's flattering on my shape. So I just choose to do other styles like drop sleeve, or even raglan I think looks pretty decent on me, as long as I'm not trying to make it tight. So I just put it away. And then at some point earlier this year, I think it was while I was making, it wasn't while I was making my Ivy sweater. I think it might have been actually. I don't know what happened. I know I was watching somebody else's podcast and they were talking about their stripe hype and about the fact that it's 6 colors. And then 6 colors hit my head and I went, wait, don't I have something that's 6 colors? And then I remembered I had this set. I'm like, that's what I'm going to do with that. I'm going to make my stripe hype. Well, hello, same day. I just got everything out, caked it up, and started. And I'm loving it. I love it. I love the way it feels. Even held double, because single is too thin. Again, it's like fingering. It's not really a sport. So I'm holding it double. I'm making a size 4, but I did adjust. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a size 4, but I followed the directions for where you would split for sleeves and how many stitches you pick up for sleeves for the size 3 pattern. And that reason being is I do not like big voluminous sleeves. I don't like a lot of fabric flopping on my arms. I don't like when my arms go down and I get like slouchy socks down over my wrist. So I just prefer not a tight, but closer to your arm so you don't have a big balloon sleeve. So I'm actually really liking how this is working out. So I made a size 4, but when it came time to split for sleeves, I did the directions for size 3 so that you don't have as deep of an armhole, as a sleeve well, and then the number of stitches you pick up correlates to the size 3, not the size 4. And it's working beautifully. It is not creating any issue with the pattern at all. It's working perfectly, and I'm so glad that it is. I love it. So this colorway, the one I almost chose to go in the order that it was in the pack. I chose to put the blue, which I call gunmetal, but it's just like a really nice like blue tint, darker gray, next to the sagey. And then I have purple on my sleeve. I have taupe at the top, which I showed you earlier. I carried to the trim. I have the last color, which will go on the sleeves, which is kind of like this really dark gray. It's like a carbon. It's not black. It's just a really nice gray. And it's very shiny due to the lyocell. I think it's just beautiful. It is, and it's so soft. It's so soft. I will tell you though, you need to be careful when you're winding it. You need to hold steady, consistent, tight tension as you're winding it, because you will end up with a jellyfish. I have more than one jellyfish. And it just happened. I mean, I obviously loosened my tension, and that it happened. So, but that is the last color that'll go on my sleeve, which I put here. And as I've been working on the sleeve, I've talked to myself, because I tend to do that. And I said, self, what do you want to do for your contrast at the end of your sleeve? And I'm thinking it's going to be the purple, not the taupe. Reason being, my rationale is the last color here, first color here is what I put at the bottom. Now you're going to tell me that I should have put the blue up here, not the gray. You're right, but I'm not pulling it out and redoing it. I'm just going to go ahead and do, keep it as it is. But I think I want the purple at the end here. And that's just a preference. I love this purple. I really love this purple. But here's the fun fact. Because I had to hold it double, I had to go buy more yarn. Not the colors, but just the cloud color, the undyed, the cloud. So I went ahead and bought 3 more skeins, which is why I still have one there. And I'm still working on a ball. I will probably have to dip into that last skein to finish. But I'm going to have enough left over of all of it to make something else. But I'm going to have to hold that single. Now, if you know me, then you know I'm not a fan of smaller needles. I don't make socks. I've tried crocheting socks. It went okay. I made them. I don't think I'm going to do it again. But I would like to make socks. I really would. And I'm trying to broaden my horizons of likes. When I first started crocheting, I was a 4-weight kind of girl. You wouldn't catch me dipping down below a 5mm hook. I didn't even understand why you would buy something larger than a 5mm hook. Why would I need that? I'm not going to use any of that skinny thread. And then you find a pattern that you love and you go, fine, I'll make it. And then you realize, wow, look how pretty. Look how good this feels. Look at the drape. Look how nice this came out. And then you're, that's how they get you. So, even though I say I don't like smaller needles or hooks, I will use them, especially for this yarn because I love it. And I want whatever it is I make to give myself the best option for success. So I will probably run it single and make a fingering weight pattern of some sort, like a lightweight pullover or maybe a cardigan or just a blouse, perhaps. So I think, or a vest. Or a vest. I could do a vest. So that would be nice, like a slip over. That might be nice. Maybe even color work. I've never done color work with knitting, so maybe I could try that. So yeah, so the world will be my oyster there. So that is my stripe hype by Veronica Lindbergh with co-star Shandy from Expression Fiber Arts. And I figure I'll show you my last project and maybe you guys can help me. So, like I said, I'm wearing this to an event later this year. And this is why I did not add sleeves, because I'm going to wear a jacket. And this is the start of it. And this is the start of it. I love it. Oh my gosh, I love it. So over the screen now is the Ripple jacket. It is by Hinz. Please don't get mad at me. Hinsterum Stein, I believe, but I'm not going to butcher it again. That would be rude of me. You can read just like I can. So she is actually a very thoughtful pattern writer, and an understated one, if you ask me. I know there are several that are hugely popular, and you know what? It's fair. It's valid. They write beautiful patterns that many people make, and they enjoy, and they love, and they keep going back for more. Obviously, I've made several myself. But I think we need to maybe sometimes branch out and make something that maybe somebody from a smaller realm made. So she makes a lot of gorgeous structured garments, lots of jackets, like, cool, like wear with jeans and a neat looking belt and maybe some cool boots, just really cool vibe for like a jacket type sweater / cardigan. There's even some beautiful tank tops and stuff like that. This pattern actually does incorporate darts, so I'm extremely excited about that. But not just darts, it incorporates princess lines to give you the nice hourglass shape to help flatter your female figure. And it gives you the option to use that or not. But it's called the Ripple jacket. Now, knowing I am new to knitting, and I've only been doing this 6 months, I haven't really struggled. I did ask a question from a friend, and they guided me, and I felt that what they told me to do was correct, and it turned out it looked perfect, and it was. So I trust their judgment, but I feel like this is now something maybe outside the realm of normal, what people might make. So as you could see in the photo, it has a notched collar / front lapel. That is where I am, and that is where I've been stuck for 2 weeks. And the reason is, the way the pattern describes it, it told me to do like I'm doing, which is like you're doing like this almost double knitting trim. And this is what's really cool about this, since we're on the subject, construction. So as you work around, you made the collar, and then you pick up stitches to make one side of the shoulder, and then you make the other side of the shoulder. Again, picking up stitches and then breaking yarn. You can tell from all the tails. So then it tells you you're now going to pick up everything, and we're going to now start working the entirety of the garment, bringing in the shoulders to the sleeves to the body. Great. So I've enjoyed the fact that you do so many stitches, and then you garter, and then a couple of little this, and then some more garter. And then, oh, look, you're now getting to the, oops, am I there? Here it is. Oh, now you're getting to the sleeve, which is going to be stockinette. So you've got a little bit of everything going on, and I'm really enjoying this project. But I got to the part of this notched collar, and this is where I struggle. So it told me, I'm coming in close, guys. Coming in. It told me to bind off like I-cord. So I did. But at the point where I thought I was done, it said, do this to the marker, which I did. It said, remove marker. I did. And then it went on to the next section. I still had 3 stitches here that technically belong with the collar. And it didn't say to finish the bind off and then break yarn. It didn't say anything like that. It just said cast on I-cord. So I'm thinking a more educated knitter would know what to do here. Obviously, other people have made this project and have done a fabulous job, but I'm really struggling. Did I reach out to the designer? Yes. I believe these patterns are written in German and then translated into various other languages, as does Petite Knit from Deutsch to English and other languages. So, and just like if you watch her videos for tutorials, you'll see she's not speaking in them because she speaks Dutch. We don't. I feel like maybe a predominant amount of her audience and client base might be from English-speaking countries, but that's just me being ignorant. I apologize if I'm trampling over your nationality and your native language. But that's valid. And I have no problem with translating whatever she sends over. But she's a lovely lady that when I ask the question, she obviously puts it into a translator, and then the same with her answer so that she is speaking to me in English. But I think it gets lost in the translation thereof, because I feel like things might get jumbled and my interpretation of what she's telling me is askew. So she guides me to a video I should watch of her doing an I-cord cast on. And in that I-cord cast on, it's not attached to anything. It's just a freestanding, like you're starting a project by starting with an I-cord cast on. So that also triggered my head that maybe those 3 stitches that were here should not be there. If the next step you're telling me and you're showing me with a video is a cast on, then these 3 stitches should go away. And I did try doing all these next steps to the 3 stitches here. What that would do would literally create a bridge between the 2 pieces where there's supposed to be an open notch. Like what I'm working on is here. And are those connected? Kind of, sort of, not really. So I decided to just literally follow every word of the pattern. And it said, it's called a bind off, an I-cord bind off. We are binding off, Janice. So bind off. Don't leave 3 stitches lingering. That's what I told myself. If you're screaming at me right now, that's fair. That's fair. I need it. I kind of need it. But a little more constructive would be, could you just, type in the comments, like, no, that's not what you should have done. Because I have no problem backing it out and trying it again. I really don't. I want this to be done right. I don't want to just go, meh, it's good enough. I really do want it to look nice. I want it to look like it's supposed to, and I want to be proud to wear it. And right now, the plan, because I have a nub, I have this this crazy nub right here, is to just go, okay, we're just going to tuck that back. Just kind of tack it down. That's the plan. Because I went ahead and did the cast on the way the video showed, and I have the number of stitches I'm supposed to. And then it said, continue knitting, until you get to your next marker. So that's what I did. So I feel like if all goes well, maybe I've done it right. In a perfect world, the one person who may watch this video, and if so, may or may not watch it to this point, makes the ripple jacket, there's a God in heaven. And he is smiling on me today, because if you could just take a moment and tell me that I'm wrong and tell me what to do that would be right, I would forever be in your debt. I would owe you a pot of gold in the afterlife, and I will give that to you. And you will be my internet best friend. You will be my internet best friend. And I will. I'm hugging you right now. I'm hugging you right now because I know you're there, and you're going to tell me you did that wrong. This is what you should have done. And literally, all I need is last 3 stitches, do this, period. Then this, period. I don't need you to try to long drawn out or draw me a photo. Short bursts, I can follow. Otherwise, I'm going to keep going. And if I realize I was wrong, I will pay the price. I will back it out. I will do it again. But I'm hoping I chose the right path. This is like an RPG. It's a role-playing game, and I'm hoping I chose the right path to go down, that there is not a huge monster at the end that is going to eat me and my ripple jacket, and I have to start the game all over again, because that would be so sad. But I thought you might like to see this yarn. This is what I had reserving my stitches. Look at this. It's so fabulous. I love this so much. I was not a furry sweater person before I started knitting. I was not. And then that first sweater, the Ivy sweater I made that I ran mohair with, changed my world. Changed my world. Look at this. This is called... I'm going to put it over here. I'm not quite sure the name. I'm looking for another skein, but I don't have one. It is, I want to say Oceana. I believe it's called Oceana. It is at Knit Picks. It is alpaca, and I think they call it Seacel, Seacel. The picture's already been inserted. It's called Seacel, and it is acrylic. Hear me out. They say it's recycled plastic from the ocean, which I'm a huge fan of. So that would be the orange part. So the plastic is the orange part, and then all of the pink floof is the alpaca part. And I just love it. I mean, it is so soft against the skin. This is not going to require to have anything worn under it. Obviously, I'm going to be bare-armed. I'm going to wear it open. I can't. It's so fabulous. And now is the time to yell at me again and tell me how insensitive I am to wear something this loud and obnoxious to my niece's wedding. And you'd be right. She is not having a loud, obnoxious themed wedding. She is choosing jewel tones, obviously, and getting married in a castle. Not the vibe we're getting at with my project. I did clear it with her mother. I said, will she freak out if I have this jacket on at her wedding? She told me no. And I showed her the yarn. I showed her the jacket. And she said, no, she'll be fine. I said, will she be okay with me wearing it in photos? She's like, yes. I think she's being nice. This is not my sister. This is my brother's wife. I think she's being nice. I will take something else to wear. I am not insensitive or selfish enough to think that I could wear this to a wedding and there would not be backlash. I recognize there potentially could be. There could be oh my God, did you see what Aunt Janice is wearing? How am I going to have her in photos and forever in that hot pink sweater? I get it. I am going to take something else to wear. I think maybe I will wear that to the ceremony and then wear something else to the reception. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm totally okay with changing. I will wear something much more conservative other than that. So we'll see. I'll have wardrobe changes for sure. if need be. But I'm excited about it. I love that yarn. I love how it's coming together. I'm fearful of what's happening at that spot, but I'm going to keep moving forward and pray for the best. So thanks, guys, if you're still here. We're 45 in. I've had a lot of fun doing this. I want to keep doing this, and I will, because the only way I will ever meet you is if I keep showing up at your doorstep, right? If I keep knocking on your door, one of these days you're going to let me in. That's my thought. One of these days you're going to let me in, and you're going to let me touch your yarn, and you're going to let me admire everything you've made and pick your brain and ask you for all of your pearls of wisdom, because I need them. I'm new. So I hope you enjoyed this. I know I did, and I hope this is the first step to our friendship. So until I see you again, I hope your days are filled with peace, love, and yarn. Bye, guys.